Hello everyone, my name is Joelle and I live in the middle of a little forest, and this year I have been working on my dream cottage style garden, and I actually started this project back in February and it is the middle of May now. So I thought it would be fun to kind of take you back to the beginning and go through the whole process so you can see the whole transformation. I've been trying to figure out what to do with this half moon shaped garden bed, and the past few years I've been trying to get it started, but I've made a lot of mistakes. You can see here we are kind of nestled in this little forest, and this is actually my view from my desk. So I would just love for it to be colorful and pretty out there. The thing about being surrounded by all these trees means we have a lot of shade. So some of the plants that I planted previous years were full sun and they just did not do very good. So I'm going into this year with a new plan. But first things first, I am going to start by reclaiming these garden edgings that have almost been completely stolen away by moss, and I'm going to repurpose them at the front of the garden to separate it from the path. This might be temporary if we ever change up this path, but that will be a future thing, and right now I think this just looks so much better already. At the point when I started filming this video, it was still in the very early stages of spring. The trees hadn't filled in yet, and the few plants that I had put in previously had not come back yet, besides the lamb's ear that you can see in the front right here. So it's about mid-February right now, and it's just been so nice out, too nice to not be out here at least preparing the garden. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those projects where I come out when it's nice out and work a little bit every day, and hopefully by March I'll be ready to plant everything. And yeah, I'm just excited to finally be doing something with this area, and I think that it's going to look so cute. Recently, a stranger gave me a bit of advice, and I wrote it down in my little notebook here just to kind of keep it in my head. And it was simply use what you have. Now, that might sound incredibly obvious, but sometimes I personally get so hung up on something that I just don't let myself do it if it's not perfectly the way I want it to be. But sometimes you may find that there's a lapse in your skill, or what you have available to you doesn't quite equal what you're envisioning. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. For example, I'm envisioning this grandiose cottage garden with all of these flowers and all of these plants in here, but it can be pretty expensive going to a nursery and buying all of the plants that I'm dreaming about. So I keep trying to apply that advice of use what you have in almost every facet of my life, including gardening right now. And what I'm gonna do is, there is a bunch of plants just all around the yard that were here before we moved in that are just like in random spots, but they're really pretty too. So I am going to dig them up and replant them in here and in other spots around the yard, and yeah, just use what I have. So the people who lived here before us planted a bunch of helleborus, I think it's called, around this area. There's one right there, and I just don't really like the placement for some of them, so I'm gonna dig them up and replant them. They seem to be a really nice early spring bloomer, one of the first things that bloom, so I think that I'm gonna put them in some areas that have other flowers in them that kind of take longer, so we get some early color in these flower beds too. Okay, I'm a little further in the forest because I was out here the other day and I saw some more helleborus and some daffodils out here. But I saw this azalea tree blooming along the creek and it's just so pretty. Sometimes I don't come out here every year at the right moment and I miss it blooming. So I was really excited to see it blooming. The thing about being surrounded by all these trees means we have a lot of shade. So, some of the plants that I planted previous years were full sun and they just did not do very good. So, I'm going into this year with a new plan. As the days started to warm, I also started putting in more and more time in the garden. And I ended up buying some columbines when they were at the nursery because they're just so cute and they remind me of little fairies. I also added some heuchera, and oh, my Stokes aster is finally starting to emerge over there that I planted last year. I love this flower so much. It's so cute when it blooms. And I was thinking of adding some more hellebores for the fact that they are evergreens. Oh, and then maybe some ferns would look cute too. Here's the placement of everything so far, but I still have so much more I want to do. Hello, I am back. Spring has fully sprung. It is well underway. And I have been putting a lot of work into this garden and my front flower garden. And I planted a bunch of colorful columbines and I'm kind of obsessed with them. I have all of these pretty colored ones, and then I also got my hands on some native columbines that are on a different side of the house, but they aren't blooming yet. So hopefully, when they bloom, I can show them to you. But I was trying to think of a ground cover to put in here to kind of intermingle everywhere, to kind of act to stomp out the weeds and also look pretty. And I had the thought that there's a bunch of violets growing pretty much everywhere in the yard, and I think it would be really cute to kind of go collect some of those and put them in here. And I've seen a few different types of violets. There's actually one that I just kind of discovered that has a kind of silvery look to it. I'll have to look up the type it is. And I thought that would look really pretty. So I'm going to take my little star basket and my little shovel, and I'm going to go kind of just go peruse the yard and see if I can find any, and then we'll replant them in my flower bed. So my dream cottage garden in the forest is well underway. violet haul. So I got quite a few. I found quite a few of those ones with the lighter color leaves, which is really cool. And then I also grabbed this, which is not a violet. It's what I think is called a brunera. Might not be saying that right, but it also has like this silvery foliage, which I just love anything with silvery foliage. But yeah, there's quite a few, and trust, there was still plenty more out there. So yay! I'm gonna go plant these. The garden's looking really good. I don't really know how much longer the columbines are going to last. I actually need to come through and deadhead them a bunch, but they've been really good about putting out new blooms, so hopefully they'll last a little bit longer. The phloxes flowers are all starting to fade, but my heucheras back here are looking really good and so pretty. And then I have creeping thyme that's been in this bird bath for since last year, and it's come back real well. And then every year I also like to put the silver falls in here to kind of fill it out and make it really pretty. This bird bath has a big old hole in the bottom, so it doesn't work as a bird bath, it just leaks, so it's perfect for a little planter. If you see this lamb's ear that goes all along the edge, that was actually the first plant that I ever planted when we moved to this property. We planted one right in the middle in front of the bird bath, and it just every year I prune it and separate it twice a year, once in spring, once in fall, and this is all just from that one plant. And within a few years we have covered the whole front line, and I think it does really beautiful. It looks really beautiful. My asters, my Color Stokes asters, which are also known as color wheel, and they are a native to my area. They look like they're getting ready to bloom, and they're so pretty once they bloom. They are like this purpley lilac color, and I love them so much. So that was kind of my goal with this garden. As one flower fades, another one is blooming, and we just continue to have color all year round. So I might have to come back and update you guys when those are blooming in another video later in summer. There's a few bare spots in here that I want to fill in. So there is more I want to do, but I think this is the time to end the vlog. We are starting to get a bit more into warmer weather, though today is really nice out and windy. Really happy with how it's looking. I'm really happy with how colorful it's looked all spring. Thank you so much for being here with me. I am not a professional gardener. I am learning as I do this every day, getting a better relationship with my yard and the soil and the plants and the weather and the light and all of the factors that go into growing things and planting. So I appreciate you coming along on this journey with me. There is so much more I want to do around the yard, so I would love to make more vlogs like this. If that sounds interesting to you, please let me know. If you have any tips or tricks for me, please let me know. I'm always open to learning more. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, I'd love to hear it. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!